Ugh. Ugh. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. How was it? Fill me in real quick. Lance, how was it yesterday?
We slapped them. It was
Were
pretty
they
easy.
bad?
My Wi-Fi didn't Google itself, and they sucked. So it was a good day.
That's good. That's really, really, really good. I'm very happy for you. Okay. Hey, Thanos. I hate you. Okay, come on. This is rubbish. Come on, open up.
Martinez,
Yes.
are meteorology facts today or no?
Ha! Depending on what?
You're the meteorology guy.
Okay, but depending, yeah, but on what?
Meteorology.
It's random.
On what though? Where's Uma? Where's Jai Ho?
I've been here.
Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry.
You're so
All right.
mean.
Put your arm down. We can smell you from here.
That
Kid-
was uncalled for.
Yeah, Uma, you've had me for a year. When do I ever do things that are called for?
That's true.
Euban is sitting there just mortified. Heavens to Betsy! Oh! And Dylan is just chilling. All right, and Eleanor is not here. Oops, nope, she's not lower school. Okay, and Will's all good too. Good, and Logan, Lance. Dylan, no free shows.
That's what I told her. She's barging in.
Who is that? Your mom?
No, it's my sister again.
Oh, Alexis.
Yeah.
Guys, I have been punished these few weeks having not only Dylan, but Dylan's sister in my classes. Oh, no man deserves to be punished in such a way.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, greater men have died from less. All right. All right, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be covering, like I told you guys, we're going to be going back to covering advanced array concepts, all right? Now, as I told you guys, your test is going to be next week. I'm going to put it on the test calendar. I'll have it up this weekend. I'm actually taking a low-key weekend this weekend to kind of just relax and catch up on all grading. I felt a little bit behind, but I'll get everything caught up. You guys know that. I'm pretty good with grading. So I know some of you probably have history projects or English projects that haven't even been graded since September. So I think you guys, so I feel like I'm doing a good job. All right, so that being said, let me share my screen. All right. Okay. So what we're going to be discussing today is actually advanced array concepts, okay? We're going to be going over items that like methodologies and properties that we can use with arrays, but other items that you're going to need to know in regards to arrays, like system copy, swapping from arrays. Like for example, system copy, I believe, has 5 parameters, standard searches, little methods that will be very, very helpful for you to, especially on the AP exam. None of this is on the AP exam. You will be tested on this, however, though, okay? All right, so first let's talk about an array of objects, okay? Now, I said this before, Alex, standard numerical arrays. When you have a numerical array, by default, it is initialized to what?
0.
To 0. And Uma, if I have an object array, by default, what is it declared to?
No.
Bingo. Good. So we take a look at this line, circle sir equals new circle 500. So basically what we have just done is what in that line, Eon?
Wait, which line?
So in line, just this line right here, okay, this top line right here, I'm not going to present it as a show, but what have we done basically?
You've created an array with that can hold 500.
500 objects, right? You're using a lot of memory. Okay, so I do this right here, all right? Circ 117 equals new circle 57.2, all right? How many objects are null?
499.
499 are null. Which one is not null? Lance.
117.
Index 117, okay? So again, just like we did with a primitive array, we can use a for loop. Now, the one thing that I see a lot of people do, I see a lot of teachers do this, and it drives me effing insane, is, remember I told you guys, for some people that they'll make, like, for example, they'll make a circle object, and then they will just initialize that circle object again, and then they'll put that object in the array. Don't do that. It's just foolish. When you're going through, just use the constructor, okay? Just use the constructor. What with this for loop, now what have I done?
Like created 500 circle objects. Or
I've
initialized
all initialized now with a value of 10. Are there any that are null?
No.
them. No. We can't hear you.
There are none of these instances are 10 or are null, okay? Good. All right, so let's take a look at an array of values, okay? Now, standard numerical arrays, you use the same thing. If we're doing a comparison of a numerical array to a numerical array, we use equals equals. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe Java has actually updated itself that with objects, you can actually use equals equals. I'm not sure if anybody knows that, feel free to, don't do it now, but for some reason, I feel like I saw some update where like, you could say like, for example, string X equals this, string Y equals this, X, if X equals Y, similar to how it is in Python and a lot of the other newer languages. I could have sworn that's like that, but for right now, don't do that, okay? In the subset, again, something that we'll go over in the rules for the AP, they will actually tell you, even if it's acceptable, when it's coming to objects, they want you to use dot equals, okay? So for example, in string arrays, okay, if S3 plus D dot equals Hermit, if S3 plus D dot compare to Hermit is greater than 0, remember we went over the compare to, okay? What does the compare to mean?
It finds like the first difference and then subtracts their values.
So what comes first, capitals or lower, or no, or lower?
Capitals.
What's the number from capital A to lowercase a? What do I add?
32.
32. What's starting A?
65.
Good job, Thanos. All right. Now the same thing with object arrays. If we are doing, it's a built-in property built into objects. So for example, bank account 1 dot equals bank account 2. Okay. You can actually do a comparison. And when it's doing a comparison, the thing that it's specifically looking at is the constructor values. We're going to get more into that later, but this is more of just understanding of how we actually compare array values. Okay, so the dreaded null pointer exception. Okay, who can tell me what this is? Who can guess what this is?
There's no object at a particular like array index.
Exactly. There's no object, and you actually try to do something, whether it's trying to print it out or try to point to a certain thing or try to use it, you'll get the null pointer exception. Okay. Now, again, this exception is tested on the AP. Okay. You just have to have an idea of it. And basically what happens is you've initialized an array and you try to call on a value of that array, or let's say you've initialized an array of objects. You try to call on it. So you've initialized them, but you haven't gone through, or you've declared them, but you haven't gone through and actually initialized every one of these objects with values. So what happens when you try to call on it, you have a null pointer exception. There's nothing there. Okay. Now, again, you need to have an idea. They will give you this, like, generally they give you one multiple choice question on this, but you might not have any. But it is 100% an error that they look out for. Just like array index out of bounds errors, arithmetic exception errors. This is one of the 4 errors. There's only 4 that we need to know. This is the last one, okay? And it's very easy to pick up on. Okay, different references to the same array. Okay, this is actually important, okay? So let's take a look at this one. Int array equals FRST, okay? Then I said int sec, and I just declared the array. Now, and then I said sec equals first, okay? Now what basically you have just done, is you have basically you have an array that technically has 2 names, sec and first, okay? You sec and first. There is no overriding here, and this only happens when you have not declared something. You can override something if it's initialized. If you've only declared it, and then you say SEC equals FRST, okay, you basically have 2 names pointing to one array. So for example, here when I said SEC2 equals 99, and I print out FRST2, it's going to print out 99, okay? This is referencing. You will have, I myself will have questions on referencing, okay? And again, this works when you've declared an array, but you never finished initializing it. If you've initialized it, you're in a different ballgame. You can just simply overwrite the values, okay? All right. And again, these are just simple rules. These are like simple, just understanding rules, going over just some advanced. Does anybody have any questions so far? Notice we haven't really learned any new code, but more we're just going over the fine details of arrays. All good? Thumbs up? Okay, good. Oops. All right. So, you guys okay, so declaring, so this is basically a single line declaration of arrays. If I say this int x or int array x comma y, both of those, you now have 2 arrays that are x and y. If I say int x array comma y, you have x that's an array and y, which is just an integer variable. So be careful on the way that you do that. You're not really going to need to know that. I think I put this PowerPoint is probably like 5 years old. So this is just something back, just key things that you would need to know. Okay, removing an array from memory. Okay, it's possible for the garbage collector to release the memory of an array. Okay, now we're going to learn something. We're going to learn something called array lists. I love array lists. They're fun. Okay, they're difficult, but they're fun. Okay, and the great thing about it, just remember on the fly. Okay, and if you want to remove something, you remove it. Everything just compacts a little bit. That doesn't happen with arrays. Let's say, for example, UMA. Let's say, or not UMA. Let's say, let's see. I already picked on UMA. Let's see. Getty Woo. Okay, so Getty Woo has an array of 10 different girlfriends that he's had. Obviously an imaginary list. Okay, so, all right, so he's had an array of 10 different girlfriends that he's had. Okay, and he stores the name. Then he becomes an adult. You know, those were kid relationships. And he wants to, okay, I want to just, I'm just going to override it. I'm going to just change it. I'm going to start at 1. And let's say he changes it to 1. All that data is gone. All of that data is gone. So something that I don't have in here is this. So take a look. I'm not going to code. I'm just going to put it in here. you can reinitialize an array. So let's say that I said my array equals new at 500, okay? And then I needed to change the size of my array. I used 500. I don't want to make a new one, but I want to shrink it down to 100. I can say my array, pardon the cap, guys. My array equals new int 100. That actually will now override my array is now 100 integer variables. But what you have to understand is that all 500 are completely wiped out and it's uninitialized. So you have to remember that. Now, in terms of objects, however, we can get rid of it simply by saying the array is equal to null. Okay? Literally, that rather than going through a for loop and just saying make everything equal to null, you can just say the name of the array is equal to null. Okay, and then again, that's where so for example, if I say my array 45 equals 2003, okay, you haven't redeclared what the size of the array is going to be. So my array 45 doesn't exist. So you're basically trying to go towards a non-existent, okay, which gives you a null pointer exception because you have a null array. Okay, with primitives, you can simply do this. Okay, you just give it a new value. With arrays or with objects, you just say null. By default, you could also do it like this as well. Let's say and redeclare the size. But let's say you're done using it and you want to free up that memory. You would use null. System array copy. Okay, system.array copy. This is a great, especially because about 8 years ago, one of the, I believe 8 or 9, could be up. One of the free response questions, I believe it was for, was it for A or for AB? There used to be an AP Computer Science AB, significantly harder. Okay, the lowest passed AP in history. That's why it's no longer around. Okay, so basically what you could simply, they were looking for you to copy certain elements from one array to another. They expected you to do like 6 lines of code. Whoever wrote the program didn't realize that there's a built-in method in the system that actually does it for you. System.array copy. Now, system.array copy has 5 parameters. The starting array, starting at what index, which array are you going to send it to, starting at which index, and how many elements are you sending? Okay. Now, let's take a look. So if you have, okay, take a look at this. From me to you. So I have ABC, character CH, character NN, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. System.array copy, CH, so the array you want to copy from, starting at which index, 1, which would be B. I want to copy it to this array at the second index, which would be 3, and I want to copy B, C, D. So my new array would look like 1, 2, B, C, D, 6, 7, 8. Okay, notice that the size of the array is not changed. So this is actually a new line of code, a new method that you would need to know. System.array copy, and again, it is built into Java. Hold on. Okay, so. Okay, converting a string into a character and an array. Okay, so this is something that's very, very useful. It's built in. Okay, so the string method we have not previously discussed is 2-character array. There's a built-in method. So let's say I create a character array and I have this string. I can literally just say ch. I don't even have to initialize it. I can say s.2-character array, and regardless of how many elements are in the string, it will instantly create it of that size. The key thing that you need to know is that the apostrophes come with it. So if you were to print it out, it would look like that. Okay? So you can also take a character array and then copy value of, okay, string.copy value of, and just set it ch. So basically what this does is we'll take this and revert it back to A, B, C, D, E in a string, okay? Don't worry about these. You won't use these often. You probably won't ever even use these often, considering that character arrays character itself is not tested on the exam. So don't put too much weight into this. Logical size, you guys already know that. The arrays class. All right, the arrays class, okay? So this is something you would have to import, okay? You would have to import the arrays class, okay? So import java.util.asterisk would automatically do it, or you can do import java.util.arrays, okay? Sorting. Let's say I had an array of just a whole bunch of numbers, and I wanted to rearrange them. Arrays.sort B. So if I had my int array here, and I used arrays.sort B, they are now done in ascending order. This one saves you a whole bunch, especially if there's ever a question where you need to write and you need to put everything in ascending order. Binary search. Now, a binary search is actually great because it will tell you whether or not something is in, like a number or something is in an array. However, with a binary search, the array must be sorted first. You must sort the array before you can use a binary search, okay? So for example, if I have int index equals arrays.binary search, the name of the array that I'm cycling through and what I am looking for. If it is in there, okay, then if it is in there, then what happens is it will print out the index. If it's not in there, it will yield a -1. Okay, so obviously you can't have a negative index value. So if it's not in there, it just yields a -1. Go ahead, Gary.
Wait, so this is just finding if a certain value is inside of the array. right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and again, it works, just primarily works for integers, okay? All right. So comparing arrays dot equals X and Y, you can just take two arrays and find out whether they equal each other using the arrays class rather than saying this dot equal to this. Dot fill. Easy way. Let's just say you do an array, you've initialized it. You want to overwrite all the values with one number. One, we can use a for loop, correct? Or two, I can say if I imported it, I can say arrays.fill, the name of the array and what number I want to fill it with. And this will overwrite every single value with that number that you've added. Not bad, huh? And then last, is your homework, okay? So sorting a string array. Create a string array called SS. It will contain the following strings in the order shown. Okay? Using the techniques we've discussed, sort this array and then print the contents of the sorted array using a loop from index 0 to last. Call both your project and class sort string array. Confine all of your code to the main method. So don't make this in a super class, okay? And that's it, guys. So this is your homework. This is actually in your book. I think it is at the end of the advanced array methods. I'll tell you right now. It is, I believe this one is at the end of chapter, no, yeah, it's at the end of chapter 19. It's called Sorting a String Array. Okay, so that is your homework. Okay, and that's it for today, all right? Hold on one second, guys. All right, guys, so that is it. It's at the end of chapter 19, project sorting a string array. So what I normally don't, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this PowerPoint. Even though it's in the book, I'm still going to post this PowerPoint as part of the assignment, okay? And I will give you guys, if we don't have class, I will give you guys till Monday night to do this, okay? But again, we're going to have another review Monday night, just going over inheritance, all right? Anybody have any questions? Is this the last class of the day? All right, guys, cool. Go have a, what's it called? Go have a great weekend. I will see you guys. If you want to come Monday night, it's optional, but be prepared for a quiz on Tuesday, okay? All
Wait,
right.
what time is it at Monday?
Thank you.
So Monday is probably going to be about 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody else? All right. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.